What's up, internet? My name's Ory. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. You like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Today is Sunday, September 24th, day number 54 inside the Big Brother house. And yesterday was, again, another day of just kind of circle chats, most of which really didn't go anywhere. But we do have a few things of note to go over. Before we do that, we do have a birthday to celebrate. Kira, it's your birthday. This is your birthday song. It isn't very long. All right, let's get into the update. Kira, happy birthday. First kind of thing I wanted to talk about was a little bit of the reaction to the Ory Rant yesterday. Some of you, fully supportive, thank you. Others, didn't agree on some things and had some different points of views. We had some good little chats in there. I think there's also some misconceptions on where my point was. And this is, again, like kind of a flaw that I should improve on. There's always new people showing up, right? And I've put out over 50 videos about Big Brother every single day doing these live updates. Each one is about 20 minutes long. That's probably over 1,000 hours of content that I've put out about Big Brother 25. I could never expect anyone to watch all of that. So, especially the 2,000 or so of you who are new in just these past 2 weeks, which again also kind of blows my mind. We went from 7,000 subscribers to now we're almost a quarter of the way to 9,000 subscribers. So it's been amazing how much of the support that you guys have been showing me here, but there's a lot of new people, right? And I think one of the misconceptions was people were thinking I was saying that they did not have any advantages at all. Not true. Anyone who's been here the whole season, you would know I have very much called out that this was a huge advantage for Cirie having her son in the game. In fact, if you go back and look at the comments for that, it wasn't very a popular opinion when I was saying it. I was one who was like, yeah, no, this is clearly a huge advantage, which people didn't seem to want to accept. And it's, again, part of what I was kind of saying in the rant. People seem to have an issue being happy, right? You can't make everybody happy, and they'll see one thing and go, oh, no, I like it right now because it's going the way I want. And then as soon as things don't start going the way they want, they switch and go, oh no, this is not fair. So you can't have it both ways. But yes, of course they've had advantages. Of course it was stacked in their favor. My point is, though, they are not actively setting this up for Jared and Cirie to win the game. If they were, just follow me along with this. Why would they do a knockout HOH competition? Because a lot of people were trying to say like, oh, Ory, this was all set up. This twist was all set up just in the past 2 weeks to make sure that Jared stayed. And no, this has been planned this week to not have a veto episode since the very beginning of the season. There were some people trying to suggest that, oh, well, they've always had this set up as a backup plan. You really think they're making backup plans? They barely plan what's happening. You really think they're putting in extra work to come up with multiple plans each week on multiple competitions? And again, if they were, why would they make that double eviction HOH, which was probably the most critical one for Cirie to win, one where she literally had like no chance to win because everyone would be targeting her going into it? It just doesn't make any sense, right? If you're trying to say they're rigging it, why would they do that competition? That breaks your argument right there, because it's not a competition that plays to her winning. If anything, it was stacked against her from winning that HOH, which would have been the best way to make sure that Cirie and Jared made it through the double eviction. You guys see what I'm going here? Yes. We could end up with a point where this last competition for the zombies comes through, and if Cameron plays it, it's a crazy hard thing that he has to accomplish. But that also could be kind of the point. If you think of what this scenario is about, It's about betting on yourself. So it actually would kind of make sense if they were like, yeah, you know what? They're going to play it. Whoever gets it, they're going to want to play. But let's make it really hard. So it actually would have been better if you didn't play it than necessarily to make it easier. And yeah, maybe they'll have 2 puzzles set up, right? One if Jared ends up playing and one if Cameron ends up playing. Maybe that's a thing, right? But we don't have evidence of that. We have no idea what the puzzle will be. We don't even know if it's a puzzle. We're just speculating that it will be a puzzle. But do you see how we're running with narratives that haven't even formed yet? They haven't even formed yet at all. It's the simplest explanation is sometimes the one. Some other things though, a very good question that was coming up was about Cory and whether or not he gets to play the next HOH. And honestly, I don't know, at least at the time, didn't have a clue. Might have a little bit more insight on that coming directly from the house. Cory has been asking the diary room if he gets to play in the HOH competition, and they won't tell him. So we still have no clue whether or not Cory will get to compete, whether Jared or Cameron will get to compete in the next HOH, if everyone gets to compete, or how well anything will work. So we'll just have to find that out on Thursday. Some other interesting things that did kind of take place, though, throughout the day. We talked about on yesterday's update how Jag really wanted to confront Cirie on, her telling about Matt's power to Jared. And that happened this morning where Matt and Jag ended up talking to her about it. And it really wasn't about her telling Jared, right? Like, that is what it is. It's more that she continues to deny it. She continues to lie to them about it, while also saying she's never lied to them and never shared information. And I think this is just one of those things where she should have came clean much earlier, but now she's kind of stuck in that position. And this is a thing where Jared kind of dug a hole for her, and she's got to dig herself out of it now because he went and talked to Jag before the eviction. If he doesn't do that, this isn't a problem. And it's just another situation where Jared made mistakes that now are costing them in the game. Now, Jag still does not buy anything that she's saying. She actually was trying to say that Jared thought that there was the power from Matt because Cory had the power. It was a really bad explanation. It doesn't make any sense. And Jag even agreed. He's like, it doesn't add up. We know there were only 2 people that you told, me and her. So how did Jared know? It had to be her, but she won't admit it. Eventually, Jag leaves, and Matt was kind of like, Cirie, I'm sorry. Like, that was all Jag's idea. I didn't want to do this. But they did end up chatting later, Jag and Matt, where he was like, look, dude, like, we cannot trust her, right? Like, she's clearly lying to us. She cannot be trusted. Matt, though, I think is still trying to hold some game relationships there, just in case Cirie were to win, or he ends up on the block. He would have Cirie's vote to stay. Speaking of Matt and Jag, we also talked about the alliance that Cameron pitched with them, and there was also a 4-person alliance he pitched with adding Blue, and they have a name now. They're called the Fugitives. They got a hand signal with guns. They do little finger guns. And they've also got nicknames for each other as well to go along with it. Jag is the Outlaw. Matt is the Bounty Hunter. Cameron will be either the Gunslinger, the Mercenary, or the Gunner, like he was saying he wanted. Who knows? We'll see. I don't buy it, right? Like, I don't buy it from Cameron. I think he's just covering his bases for a potential blindside with Matt and Jag. They don't really necessarily 100% trust in Cameron either, just because of how he's sold them down the river before. But they're hoping, right? And they're just kind of playing along with this, that if he did end up winning, maybe he does take the shots at Felicia and Cory. But I cannot see Cameron being happy with Felicia being the one who would go out on his HOH. I just don't see a world where that is Cameron's plan. We've seen him lie before to everyone in the house to get what he wants. actually seems like he trusts Cirie now more than anybody else. And he had told her that he wants to kind of break them up from the inside, but who knows? Maybe he's lying to Cirie as well. Anything is possible with Cameron. He really is a wild card. Blue as well. She kind of feels the same way, that, you know, Cameron probably is not somebody that they can trust, and she thinks that he will take a shot at Jag or Matt, and she thinks that Cory and America would take advantage of that opportunity as well. So she's kind of thinking the same way I am, which is kind of weird. I didn't think that me and Blue would agree on something, but we do. Other than that, though, they did kind of talk about potentially Blue feeling like she's being like brigaded, right? Like with the whole Britney situation. So they kind of suggested that they would let her name the 4-person alliance. So we'll see how that all goes as well. Let's see, what else did we have? Oh, speaking of Blue, Jared was really pushing to Blue how Cory and America are the ones that need to go on the block, no matter who ends up staying, right? Whether it's Cameron or Jared, he was really pushing that like Cory and America are the ones that have to go up. But he also pushes to Blue how Matt and Jag being such a tight duo is also dangerous for her game, as well as Matt being somebody who, if he makes it to the final 2, probably has a really good shot at winning, so people aren't going to want to sit next to him. So while he actually might be somebody that you could kind of keep around, because they would end up taking him out before they take you out. Some other interesting things, though, with that is just the dynamic between them, right? They're not back together necessarily, right? Like, they're not sleeping in the same bed, but they are cuddling, right? They were up in their in the game room on that little bench area where they've had lots of activities already. And Blue even said like, "Oh, this is where it all started." And it's just such a weird dynamic. It really reminds me of Ty and Claudia from the most recent Big Brother Canada season, BB Can 11. And there were points at the game where Ty and Claudia were both targeting each other and each other's allies, but eventually would come back and work together. And it was just a really weird dynamic and really almost toxic relationship. And it's kind of similar with Jared and Blue. I don't know. It's just, maybe this is just one of those things where I'm getting older and I'm not getting how the young kids are down with stuff anymore. Like, I don't know. It's a weird dynamic. Very weird. Cory and Cirie had a really fun chat. Now, just watching the two of them kind of spar, and like when I say spar, like I don't mean like take jabs at each other or anything, but just like dance around topics and have these game conversations. It's just a lot of fun to watch them chat. And Cory filled her in on a lot of things that Jared had been telling her about brown sugar babes and, you know, all the things that he shouldn't really have known. And with everything that he was telling her, just Cirie, she really was just shocked, right? She's like, I cannot believe the big hole that Jared dug for me. We talked about it with the Jag and Matt conversation. Listen, we talked about in the rant and the response to the rant just a little while ago. Yes, having Jared was a huge advantage early in the game, but it's almost been detrimental to her at this point. She probably would have been better off without him. But yeah, it's really kind of interesting, and it was a fun convo between the two of them, where they both were like, I'm not gonna put you up. It's like, yeah, I'm not gonna put you up. But they probably both put each other up. Some other interesting things, though, was the Cirie and Mimi conversation, where they kind of cleared the air. There was this apparent fight that happened after the double eviction, where Felicia, Mimi, Cirie, and Jared, all the brown sugar babes, were in I think the scary room, and they were having kind of what's been described as like a screaming match at some points. There was some kind of argument that took place. Hopefully we get to see that on tonight's episode, because again, I always feel like the episode after double eviction is really a two-parter, right? You've got the double eviction itself, and then you have the episode afterwards which fills in a lot of the gaps, and then the fallout from the evictions. Plus, we'll also get to see the reactions to Jared and Cameron coming back into the game as well. But Mimi was just kind of saying her piece, where she's like, listen, you're never going to hear that I was in anything else other than with you guys and the Brown Sugar Babes and the stuff that we were in. Like, I was loyal to you guys. And it really hurt to find out that people knew about things they shouldn't have known about, and that also people had information about things that I didn't have. And that hurt a lot. And Cirie apologized. She said, "You're right. Like, that was a failure on my part. I should have been talking to you more. I should have been filling you in on things. I shouldn't have been hiding things from you. I didn't do a good job with the Felicia and Izzy vote, and I should have been more honest with you on that point as well." And she said, like, at this point, I don't know how to prove to you guys that I'm still with you, except if I win HOH and show you, like, I'm not coming after you. I'm not putting you up on the block. Like, I still want to work with you. So it's one of those things where I think it did good to kind of clear the air, but I just think that trust is broken. I don't see Mimi or Cirie targeting each other at any point just yet, but they're not fully, like, especially Mimi and Felicia, they're not ever going to fully trust Cirie ever again, right? Like, that ship has sailed, but they'll play along, right? They're not going to actively target each other. So kind of just like a business relationship at this point, kind of going forward. Somebody else who was very busy today was Bowie. Bowie Jane having meeting after meeting after meeting with people, almost like she was the HOH this week. Listen, we talked about it. No HOH, no veto, no nominations. But Bowie said, "I'm not being left out of the conversations this week." Bowie, if there was ever a time to be left out of the conversations, it's this week. There's no need to get involved, but she is. But overall, I actually think it ended up putting her in good spots, right? All of her chats went really well. She got some good convos with everybody, including Cirie, Cory, Jag, Cameron. Like, she literally had a chat with everybody. And she really did, you know, her work this week. She did more gaming this week than she's probably done all season. Not even just this week, just yesterday. Like, just yesterday was a lot of gaming. But one of the things that I thought was really kind of interesting was, again, with Cirie, kind of just, you know, being like, "Hey, the two of us, like, we're gonna work together and, like, we got each other's back." But then also talking to Cory and being like, "Yeah, she just never takes responsibility for anything that happened, all of these alliances and everything." So I think just in general, Bowie's just trying to be good with everyone at this point, and I think she is. I think she's in a pretty good spot, actually. Now, she did also have a really good analogy as well, where she was talking about that paranoia that the Triple Bs all had, about her flipping and being more with Cameron and Red than she was loyal to them. And she, again, had a really good analogy with this, where she said it's kind of like when a cheater thinks they're being cheated, because that's what they would do. And it's kind of the same thing, right? They were all kind of going behind her back. Then, because they're doing it, they thought she must be doing it as well, when really she was loyal. She never ratted them out. She never brought up any information that Cameron or Red shouldn't have known, and she was completely loyal to them. Was she playing both sides? Sure. But she never was spilling information. She wasn't a turncoat. And that was really what kind of drove a wedge between them, and why they didn't tell her about the Red vote, because they thought she couldn't be trusted. Meanwhile, she's just like, you just didn't tell me, and that hurt. Kind of the same thing that happened with Mimi, where it was just like they weren't talking and communicating with her, and it probably would have been much better if they just did that. Some other things, they ended up getting booze late in the night, just to kind of keep things a little bit more entertaining, because again, there's not a whole lot of real substance to a lot of these conversations. A lot of them are repeat conversations, rehashing things, talking about other conversations they had with other people. But there are some, you know, interesting little tidbits. Another interesting little thing I did want to mention was I saw this clip floating around. And this is, again, kind of what I'm talking about, where people will see one thing and they'll hear somebody, you know, have this one view on a situation, but kind of take it out of context, and even further than that, ignore the things in the video itself. What am I talking about here? Cameron America. Now, if you've been watching my updates, every time they get booze, America likes to make jokes that she will take anything she can get. She wants more and more and more. She's like, oh, you're gonna finish that? Let me have that. So they had some glasses of wine, and Cameron was kind of like tipping his glass into hers. Wasn't even really anything in it. Like, if anything, it was drops. And well, yes, it was kind of weird, right? And probably not the best way to really go about it. It wasn't that big of a deal. And people saw this clip and went, Cameron, he's the type of person you got to watch your drink when you go to the club around. And it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Watch the clip again. She's literally saying, hold on, let me lick it, right? Because she wants every drop of the wine, so the wine doesn't go to waste. She makes jokes like this. Her and Cameron will joke and tease each other back and forth. Now, sometimes they might go over what some people consider, a line. But they're both adults, right? Even, here's another little aspect to it. Earlier in the day, America was chilling on the hammock. Cameron was kind of sitting next to it, and they were having chats. And at one point, they were kind of flirting back and forth, like having these little, like, teasing jokes at each other. And there were these like gummy bears that kind of like went under her feet and kind of landed like in her lap and stuff like that. And Cameron's like, those are yours now. She's like, you sure you don't want them? And he's like, careful, Cory's right over there. He's gonna hear. And she's like, he doesn't care. He's like, are you sure? I don't want to make him mad. Like, you know where I stand. Like, I'm just messing around. I'm just joking. Like, we like to have fun, but like, it's all just jokes. But nobody wants to talk about that conversation. They just want to look at this other one where they go, ooh, look at this weird thing he's doing. But then also ignore the thing that was in the video where she's saying, oh, let me lick it instead. It's all just making a mountain out of a molehill. It's kind of similar to where, again, like, people will see like a little piece and then make this huge narrative around it. And again, I kind of now have personal experience with that, where it's sometimes people don't see all of the content that I put out and everything that I've talked about, and they make assumptions thinking that I thought Cirie and Jared had no advantages in this game. Of course they did. Of course they did. But what I was trying to say was they're not actively trying to rig it, and if they were, there were much better ways to make sure that Jared and Cirie were safe this week, and they didn't do that. Another little Ory rant. But yeah, other than that, more kind of round and round conversations throughout the night, little bits here and there, but nothing really too major. Everybody ended up going to sleep a little bit earlier. It was like Blue, Cory, and America who actually were the ones staying up the latest this time, which was really a big difference. Matt usually is the one who's like the last one to go to sleep. He was one of the first ones to go to bed last night. But yeah, that pretty much covers everything that happened. Let me know what you guys are thinking down below. Also, I kind of want to know what you guys think. Who right now, especially because we don't have an HOH, we don't have any nominations. There's lots of, rumors about who people would target. Who do you guys think is in the best position overall, right? And that is very subjective, right? Some of you are going to think, well, the person who has the least target on them, they're in the best position. Some people are going to say the people who have the most social capital are in the best position. Some people are going to say people who are the best at competitions are in the best position. But I think there's lots of different answers. I want to hear what you guys think. Who currently is in the best spot in this game? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button. You like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Check out the links to all my socials in the description down below. Pinned comment as well. Check out the things like my Twitch, Twitter, Discord, Kick. The Discord's been really fun over there. I've been having a lot of great chats, and I love watching you guys all interact too, where it's like, it's not even just about me. It's this bigger community of people who love Big Brother and want the best for the show, and want to have good, healthy discourse and discussion about it, instead of just attacking people. It's been fun to watch this grow. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you next time.